Oh boy, alright, it's been another one of them days. It is now finally time for more dual destinies. So now some of y'all have been patiently waiting for. Oh, alright. Health warning. Sensitivity warning. Capcom warning. And autosave warning. Suitably warned, we venture back into the courtroom. We're about really excited for this. Oh no! The expectations! Welcome in, Bacon Mutt. Oink! Hold on a second here. I need to fix this little indicator. That's not how it fixes. We'll close that and reopen it. There it is. Okay. Alright, Turnabout tomorrow. Trial, day 1. Cross-examining Apollo. Oh boy. Oh, good heck. December 20. District Court, courtroom number 4. Mr. Justice, please explain yourself. It's very simple. There isn't much to explain. The defendant, Ms. Athena Sykes, might not be innocent. What are you talking about? The case from 7 years ago has been settled. I'm not talking about the past here. I'm talking about the present case. It's still not clear who killed Clay Terran. But, Paulo, why would you... Miss Sykes, please listen quietly to what I have to say. What in the world is Apollo trying to do? Your Honor, please allow me a little of the court's time. But this is a trial for the case from 7 years ago. Ms. Blackquill, I'd like to ask a favor of you. Just as you lost someone close to you, I lost someone close to me, too. I'm sure you want to know the real truth of what happened as much as I do. Apollo. Sure, you know I'm all for the truth. Now let's see you expose the princess's guilt. Judge, I give my permission. Continue with the trial. Very well. Is that all right with you, Prosecutor Edgeworth? The prosecution has no objections. Let's hear Mr. Justice's testimony. I'll have the police's investigation report brought immediately. Not you too, Edgeworth. I really hope it's because you have something up your sleeve. Very well. Your opening statement, please, Prosecutor Edgeworth. As you wish, let's review the case of the murder of Mr. Clay Terran. It was made clear in the previous trial that Solomon Starbuck was not his killer. Therefore, the true culprit was someone else. On that day, this culprit waited for the astronauts in boarding lounge 1. And the two men made their escape out of the Space Museum. The killer attacked Mr. Terran with the same type of knife that was used 7 years ago. The murderer then escaped into the Space Museum. Next, Director Yuri Cosmos switched the launch pads. After that, the culprit exited the Space Museum and escaped via boarding lounge 2. Therefore, this trial must make clear who Mr. Terran's true killer was. In other words, we must discover who it was that escaped through the Space Museum that day. Thank you, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Mr. Wright, is the defense ready? Yes, Your Honor. I'd better rearrange my evidence. Relevant evidence swapped into the court record. Okay, what do I got now? Now then, Mr. Justice, your testimony, if you please. Let's see what we have. Diagram, utility knife. Athena also used one of these to stab someone. Bark, bark, bark. Heck. Moonrock earrings. The Phantom's psych profile. Interesting. Order statement. Athena's prints. The ladder. The phony Fanty bomb. Oh no. What did you do? Now then, Mr. Justice, your testimony, if you please. Witness testimony. Follow Justice's accusation. I suspected Miss Sykes of the murder of Clay Tarrant. My growing suspicions were confirmed when this incriminating evidence presented itself. In addition, she's the only one who could have utilized the launchpad switch to escape. That is why I wish to indict Miss Sykes on the charge of murder. Wow. Rhubarb, rhubarb. Order in the court. Mr. Justice, you realize you're charging your own co-worker with murder, don't you? Yes, Your Honor, because that is the conclusion my investigation has led me to. But Apollo, why? How could you suspect me too? Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. I don't get it. Just what did you find out over the past few days to make you think this? Cross-examination. Heck. Alright, Apollo Justice's accusation. I suspected Miss Sykes of the murder of Clay Tarrant. Hold it! What first made you suspicious of Miss Sykes? It all started when Miss Sykes and I were investigating the crime scene. When she saw the weapon that killed Mr. Tarrant, my bracelet reacted. She said she'd never seen the knife before, but my bracelet told me otherwise. And then, every time after that, my bracelet would react when she talked about the case. Poor Apollo must have been beside himself during that investigation. I didn't know what to do or think. I couldn't even sleep. In that condition, I knew I wouldn't be any good in court. So I decided to wear an eye patch, so I wouldn't be able to perceive any of her tells. What? So that's why Apollo was acting so strangely. But the reason Miss Sykes unconsciously reacted to the knife that way is because she stabbed her mother's murderer with one identical to it 7 years ago. Objection! But that knife was also the murder weapon that you used to kill Clay Tarrant. My bracelet could have also reacted to her because she knew she was his killer, too. I guess he has a point. But my bracelet wasn't the only reason I became suspicious of him. My growing suspicions were confirmed when this incriminating evidence presented itself. And it... Go back and actually touch that. Hold on. Oh. I was about to say, is that like Earth being orbited by a tennis ball? Because it sure... it sure looked like it for a second. But I think that's the moon with a crescent phase and a full overlay. But it sure looks like the Earth being orbited by a tennis ball. Hold it! That's the lighter that was found in the Space Museum with her fingerprints on it, right? But even if it seems decisive, there must be other facts we don't know about it yet. If that's so, go ahead and prove it then. Look, honestly, I don't want to believe it's true either, but Miss Sykes was the only one who was in the Space Museum at the time of the murder. The moon is a giant tennis ball, confirmed. Confirmed! But, Mr. Justice, Miss Sykes had absolutely no motive to kill Mr. Terran, other than the fact that some mysterious figure killed her mother and we don't actually know who it is.
Objection!
7 years ago, Miss Sykes lived at the Cosmos Space Center. It wouldn't be strange if she had some kind of connection to it. Besides, people sometimes kill for motives we can't even imagine. I know you've seen plenty of cases like that in your own career, Mr. Wright. I still can't believe this. How can you actually suspect Athena, Apollo? In addition, she's the only one who could have utilized the launch pad switch to escape.
Hold it!
Isn't it possible that somebody else used that same escape route? I'm afraid not, Mr. Wright. Well, why not? I recall there's a security camera in boarding lounge 1 aimed at the launch pad booth. It's the camera that captured Mr. Terran and Mr. Starbuck. But there's also another security camera in boarding lounge 2. Recorded Mr. Terran's killer, or rather, Miss Sykes coming out of the Space Museum. A camera in boarding lounge 2? First I've heard of it, but it makes sense. Athena said she had snuck into the Space Museum the night before the incident, and then was overcome and passed out until around noon the next day. How was that until about noon the next day? I didn't even know about the explosions. When I woke up, nobody was around, so I just went out into boarding lounge 2. That must have been when the camera captured her. And that's what made Apollo suspect her even more. But wait a minute. Okay. In that case, it most likely recorded the true culprit as well.
Objection!
It's a negative on that one too, Mr. Wright. In the footage taken after the incident, Miss Sykes is the only one who appears. What? Why? Order. Order in the court. That can't be. But if it is, then it is incredibly incriminating. Wasn't it you who proved in the previous trial that the way the true culprit escaped was via the Space Museum after the pads had been switched? The fact you previously proved turned on its ear, leaving your client high and dry. I must say, it is the vintage Phoenix Wright. That is why I wish to indict Miss Sykes on the charge of murder. His points of contention are the fingerprints on the lighter and the escape route, huh? I didn't get to press this one. Apollo knows how it operates, so I can't use my usual tactics on him. It looks like the only thing I can do here is press him for more information. Okay, let me press that.
Hold it!
You wish? Believing in your client to the end is a basic principle of good defense. Shouldn't you extend that same principle to your own co-worker? You're probably right. Maybe I'm not even fit to be a lawyer. However, I don't care. This case is special to me. Aww. He was my friend, and that's why I just have to know the truth. Oh no. Why have the picture anymore? Oh, yeah. Was the glove taken off to see if he had, like, a stab scar? That would be bark, bark, bark. Apollo suspected his trusted co-worker of killing his friend. To dispel his doubts, he investigated on his own, but that only led to more doubts. Apollo must have really been struggling with this. See, now I want to see all the other things that go with the bark, bark, bark. No, I mean, he didn't, like, go around ungloved or anything. His hands exist in open spaces. Well, Apollo may have doubts, but I'll say it again. Athena Sykes isn't the murderer. I have only one thing to say. Evidence is everything in court. Well, Mr. Wright, think you have the concrete proof to knock down my arguments? Your arguments have been very clear, Mr. Justice, and your facts appear to be indisputable. Oh, well, Mr. Wright, what do you think of my theory? Looks like not even you can deny it. Miss Sykes was the only one who used the only possible escape route. Under these circumstances, there can be no other suspect but the defendant. Unless... You think there was an alternative escape route? Is that what you think, Mr. Wright? Is that what you think, Mr. Wright? Is that what you think, Phoenix? Was there an alternative escape route? I mean, it's the Space Museum. Does everybody enter the Space Museum from the third floor bridge? Or can they just come in from, like, outside? A full-size replica of the Hat 1 in Space Museum is open to the public every day of the year from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. The public. Do you know what the public would do to you? So many shenanigans. Moonrock Erie. Wow. Alternative escape route. I mean... I mean, pretty much no. We don't have, like... I mean, against the obvious possibility that the Space Museum allows people to go just outside. People could go out through, well... Over the ground from the window of the fourth floor robotic ladder. I mean, there are ladders, I guess. There are other ways people could have gone. So if someone was, well, see, the thing is, okay, so even if I want to say she went out through the robotics lab or whatever, or the killer did, or what, well, yeah. There's a whole building that people could be in. But we said they were hiding in the Space Museum. I'm going to say no, question mark. Partly because, again, we have no reason to believe it, and Apollo sure seemed mighty eager for me to agree with it. I don't think there was an alternative route, but if I say that, it's all over. I'd better think this through again. Was there an alternative escape route? Okay, back. Yes, of course there must have been. Just don't ask me what. You're just bluffing again, aren't you? Me? Bluff? No way. He knows me too well. It's fine, Mr. Wright. Even a bluff would suit me just fine. Hmm? As long as you can clear up this doubt inside me. Oink? Wait. So is that what this is all about? I want to believe in Athena. I really do. But what is faith without doubt? That's why I need to question your guilt. So once the truth finally comes out, I can really fully trust her. This moment is really cute. Oh. So you can really trust me? It seems your junior partner has just showed us what trials are truly all about. I believe you're right. We prosecutors painstakingly question every detail in pursuit of the defendant, while we lawyers believe in and defend our clients to the end. When both sides go all out against each other, that's when we discover the truth. Precisely. When the battle is over, we will understand the true meaning of trust. That's exactly what trials are about, wouldn't you agree? Yes. I couldn't ignore the seed of doubt that was growing inside me. So I decided I needed to face it head on. No matter what the truth is, it's waiting ahead. I won't be afraid. That's so like Apollo. Always uber earnest about things like this. Mr. Justice, I vow to dispel every last bit of doubt in your heart. Good. Because I want to believe in Miss Sykes again. You're really hoping there was an alternative route, aren't you, Apollo? But if I use the process of elimination, there really aren't that many possibilities. Director Cosmos was at the southern exit, leaving only the control room and the corridor to the Space Museum. Which door could the culprit have escaped through? Come on, Mr. Wright, where do you think the culprit escaped to? Okay, Director Cosmos was at the southern exit, leaving only the control room and the corridor to the Space Museum. Which door could the culprit have escaped through? The answer is something else? Well, And we determined that both those rooms are locked to special access, except for the launch pad side on that one. Oh, I can't review the other one. Why couldn't she just go past? Well, sorry. The culprit. The culprit. The culprit. The culprit. Why couldn't the culprit go past him? Why not? There? I doubt anybody could escape that way. But can you really say with certainty that it is impossible? Yes, I believe I can. I guess you're right. What are you doing? This is serious, Mr. Wright. Please be serious, Mr. Wright. You're really hoping there was an alternative route, aren't you, Apollo? Okay, how many possibilities? Control room, space in a corridor. The Space Museum corridors where they came in through? And is a mess? Control room?
Take that!
Ah! See, now you're just being mean. Alright, fine. I use the process of elimination. There aren't very many possibilities. So I'm told. But it's enough to kill me, isn't it?
Take that!
They really only could have escaped in the corridor to the Space Museum. All they had to do was use the unconscious Mr. Starbucks Prince to get through the door. Hydrate, okay?
Objection!
Thank you, Irish Mail. It appears that all you're trying to establish is Miss Sykes' guilt. If the culprit used that route, the only exit would have been into Boarding Lounge 2. The logical conclusion of your argument is that the killer is none other than the defendant. Huh? I knew it. It's the only way it could be, huh? If a culprit escapes in the corridor that leads in the Space Museum, I guess it's true. The only exit would have been into Boarding Lounge 2. But Miss Sykes was the only person captured by the Boarding Lounge 2 security camera. I investigated the crime scene thoroughly. But the only place the culprit could have escaped to was the Space Museum corridor. There weren't any other secret corridors or anything. So that leaves us with no other conclusion to draw that Athena Sykes was the culprit. What could the answer be? Was there really no other escape route? But hold on a second. What if... Where did those mysterious leaves we saw in the corridor come from? What if they're a clue to the culprit's real escape route? I think it is possible that the culprit escaped into the Space Museum, but then came out using a route other than into Boarding Lounge 2. Oh? Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum were switched after the bombing, meaning the Space Museum corridor was moving along the rail at the time, which is exactly when an alternative escape route opened up for our culprit. Are you kidding me? Judging by the intense look in your eyes, I take it but you're serious. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Do tell. Where could the culprit have gone from the museum corridor besides Boarding Lounge 2? Well, you gotta show me the thing while it being in action. They could have just gone outside, is the point, right? Right? Heck, even the control room.
Yeah.
But, like, it just makes it sound like, you know, while it's moving, they can go in, they could just jump out the thing.
Take that!
I don't know. We found something odd while investigating the museum corridor this afternoon. Namely, a few dead leaves on the floor. Considering where dead leaves come from, they point us to exactly where the culprit escaped to. Yes, I remember seeing some leaves myself. Do you mean... Yep. While the Space Museum was in motion, just beyond the corridor's safety door... Ding. Was an alternative place that the culprit could use to escape. In other words, the culprit's real escape route was... the area outside the Space Center. You're freaking insane.
Objection!
Do you know how impossible that would be? The corridor is level with the 3rd floor. Even if the culprit tried to leap to the outside wall of the Space Center building, they'd fall to their deaths.
Objection!
Ordinarily, yes. But after the bombing incident, the culprit could make use of a certain item. And what item was it exactly, Mr. Wright? Alright, this is what the culprit used to leap to the outside wall of the main building. The phony Fanty bomb? No. Do. Okay, well, certainly not the Hope capsule. Was it the Moon Rock earring? Using it as some kind of grappling hook? No. Was it the Phantom Psych profile? The subject's gravitational level rarely fluctuates. Quack, quack. Lighter and a knife. I mean, this is the only thing I have. If they had a ladder, they could absolutely lower a ladder down. And that's the only thing that actually makes sense as an object to present.
Take that!
An emergency ladder. There was an emergency ladder in the 4th floor robotics lab. And it was used that day after the explosions to help evacuate people. Ms. Blackwell herself used that ladder to escape down to ground level. Recall that the launch pads were switched after the ladder was lowered. The corridor would have passed by the ladder while the paths were being switched. And that's when the culprit literally sprang into action. And leapt onto the ladder. Who would imagine? Order. Order in the court. Well, an alternative escape route seems to have emerged. Which means someone other than Miss Sykes could have been the culprit, right?
Objection!
Making things up on the fly in an attempt to sway the court again, are we, Mr. Wright? Your theory has so many holes it puts Swiss cheese to shame. Alright then, name one. I have your detailed information about the Space Center. According to this, the distance between the museum corridor and the main building during movement is full 20 feet. 20 feet? You're pulling my leg, right? In addition, the corridor is 3 floors from the ground, or roughly 50 feet. What's more, the culprit would be leaping to a precarious place, an unstable ladder. Human beings feel fear in dangerous situations. It's a basic survival instinct. Robots! It was robots! An ordinary person would certainly hesitate before jumping. Or even freeze in fear and not jump at all.
Objection!
But the culprit had just murdered someone. They weren't in an ordinary state of mind.
Objection!
Nevertheless, why would they have taken that kind of risk? Could have waited for the switch to be complete and escaped to boarding lounge 2.
Objection!
Because there was a security camera in boarding lounge 2. The culprit knew they would be recorded if they left the Space Museum that way.
Objection!
In that case, the culprit could have hidden in the museum until things settled down. Blended in with the other people after the museum was opened. Well, that's a good point. But you claim that, despite all this, the culprit took a 20-foot death-defying leap. And all in the brief moment the corridor and ladder passed by each other? That's also a good point. They would have needed a running start while the corridor was moving to make that jump. If their timing was off, or if they couldn't jump far enough, it would have been instant death. What kind of person would attempt something like that? A robot! Well, stop bringing up good points, Edworth.
Did someone just sub and it didn't show the Tanuki?
I do not see any recent subs. Why? Did you observe that there should have been a sub? I don't think my number of subs has changed either.
Oh okay, the sub goal just popped up for some reason on screen.
Yeah, it'll do that at random. There are a few random messages that pop up. Or anyway. But anyway, also, if people subscribe, you actually choose whether to send that to my attention or not. So people could subscribe and it not show up anyway. Anyway, stop bringing up good points, Edworth. This true culprit of yours is nothing but a figment of your imagination. Why do you always have to point out every flaw? Mr. Edward's right. It does sound pretty insane. The culprit would have to be someone who feels no fear, like a stuntman or a robot. But everyone feels fear on some level, right? Wait a minute. Aha! I got it this time. I can prove that there is someone who could have used this alternate escape route. How can you now? This proves the possibility of a person who could have used this alternative escape route. This proves the herb capsule that it would be aliens? Oh, no, hold on. The Phantom Psych profile. Proves their emotions rarely fluctuate, just like their gravitational level. Doesn't experience feelings like normal people do. Like fear.
Take that!
Because they're a robot. What's that, Mr. Wright? This is a certain person's very interesting psych profile. The subject doesn't experience feelings like normal people do. In other words, this person doesn't feel happiness, sadness, or fear. Doesn't feel fear. Right. You can't be serious. Without the constraint of fear, he could easily do what an ordinary person wouldn't dare. Just as you or I could do a broad jump on the ground without the slightest fear, this subject could make a 20-foot leap 50 feet up in the air he could choose this extreme way of escaping without hesitation. So you're saying then to a person without fear, the alternative route would be quicker and eliminate the chance it'd be spotted? Well, that's definitely pretty extreme, Mr. Wright. But was there such a person there at the scene? Yes, the Phantom, that mysterious shadowy figure who keeps popping up. Oh dear. The Phantom again. I knew the Phantom was there behind the scenes of the Space Center bombing. But I wasn't sure if he was connected to the murder of Clay Terran as well. However, now it's all clear. The Phantom is the one who not only bombed the Space Center, but also killed Mr. Terran. Order in the court. Order, I say. Mr. Wright, please continue. There were just too many similarities between this case and the one from 7 years ago. Anyway, we did already say that the person who called it in this time was the same as last time, and back. But why, you may ask? It can only be because both incidents were the work of the same Phantom. So then, this Phantom is the one who killed Clay? But who is he? This Phantom has been haunting this case, pulling the strings in the background. Who could this unidentified international spy be? Right, this escape route must have been part of the Phantom's plan from the start, as was tricking Director Cosmos into switching the launch pads. The bomb on the second floor was meant to make the elevators and stairs unusable. That's why he gave advance warning and planted the bombs where he did. Yes, I think you're right. But it doesn't explain this one last thing. So I lowered my emergency ladder like the detective leading the evacuation told me to.
Queso.
Quezo! Lowered my emergency ladder like the detective leading the evacuation told me to. The detective! Fulbright? Fulbright. Fulbright. Going to be smug at him. He wears gloves, doesn't he? But it was such a pain. Why couldn't they have used the ladders in the other rooms? Aha! Aha! The robotics lab wasn't the only room with an emergency ladder. But he couldn't have made that leap unless he was certain which one it would be. So you mean... the Phantom must be someone who knew that particular ladder was going to be used? That's right. Who could it be? Wait a minute. So I lowered my emergency ladder, like the detective leading the evacuation told me to. Ms. Blackwell lowered the ladder, after being told to by the detective leading the... You gotta be kidding me! Did you figure it out right? You know the Phantom is... Yes, I do. Who is it? Who killed Clay? Our mystery spy, known as the Phantom, is none other than... him! He led the evacuation effort. I mean, it's not going to be Candace. He certainly doesn't treat things the way the other people do. After the explosions, a member of the staff crossed paths with a certain detective. I don't know who's talking. I was on duty on the 4th floor. It was quite the madhouse, I tell you. As for the detective who was leading the evacuation from the 4th floor, he had a very specific objective in mind. So I lowered my emergency ladder, like the detective leading the evacuation told me to. His objective was to secure his own escape route. We lowered an emergency ladder from a 4th floor window and escaped that way. Once everyone else got out safely, I made my way down too and headed to the shelter. This is a detective you all know. He's even the lead detective on the current case. He appears to be a very emotional man, but his psych profile says he is without emotion.
Take that!
Fulbright? What? Are you saying you mean the Phantom is Detective Bobby Fulbright? Exactly. We were all taken in by his fake persona. Detective Fulbright's real identity is the Phantom. Would remove those away. I would revert the order of that sentence, but sure. Order in the court. Mr. Wright, how could this be? That's easy, Your Honor. Detective Fulbright was leading the 4th floor evacuation effort. Our first clue is that he made no attempt to have any other ladder put to use. The ladder in the robotics lab is the only one he ordered to be lowered. The second is that he directed everybody to the basement shelter via this ladder. Verily, it was all a part of his plan to create an escape route. After Detective Fulbright saw to it that the ladder was lowered from the robotics lab, he went to the lounge where he killed Clay Terran and escaped into the Space Museum. The museum started moving, slowly, so he waited for the right time, got a running start, and just as the corridor was passing the ladder, he leaped onto it. Don't believe it. An addle-pated detective did all that. Was it really him? I mean, all this time I thought... sorry, we didn't catch your name. My name? I'm Bobby Fulbright, the heroic detective who defends our good citizens from evil. The champion of justice who comes running whenever you're in need. And my catchphrase? It's in justice we trust. Well, he's concerned for Simon, who's also just one big act. I swore to reform Prosecutor Blackwell and make him a valued member of society again. So I can't just sit by and watch him give in to his emotions and tear the defendant apart. Injustice we trust? Oh no! Monster killed Clay? He had me completely fooled. Come to think of it, he's the one who brought that bloodstained lighter to court too. The scumbag even made me turn on Athena. Damn it, how the hell did I fall for all that? For him to have wormed his way into the police department as well. Your Honor, the defense demands to question Detective Bobby Fulbright. Yes, I agree that we need to hear from him right away. The court will take a short recess, and then Detective Fulbright will take the stand. Ho, ho, ho! December 20, 5:13 p.m. District Court. Defendant Lobby, number 5. Thank you so much, Mr. Ryan. You won for everything you did. Don't thank me yet. We still have an uphill battle to fight. You got it, boss. Like, Paulo. Well, this is awkward. Athena, can you do me a favor? Huh? What is it? Could you punch me, please? What? Why should I do that? Well, the first rule is you're not supposed to talk about it. Because I should have believed in you. I let the seed of doubt inside me get the best of me. I'm really sorry that I didn't trust... Ouch! Don't be such dope! I was really touched by what you did. Now what are you talking about? I want to believe in Athena. I really do. What is faith without doubt? That's why I need to question her guilt. So once the truth finally comes out, I can really fully trust her. You took the time and effort to genuinely think about who I am and what I'm made of. After all that, how can I punch a true friend like you, Paulo? You didn't have any trouble slapping him a second ago. Thanks, Athena. And thanks for waking me up to reality again. Guess I know now who to call if I ever get sleepy in court. It looks like you have some promising young people working under you. Edgeworth? Yeah, I think they're pretty great myself. And they're not afraid to keep me in mind. Anyway, there's some very good news. Order Blackwell has surrendered and the hostages have been set free. Trucy and all the others? Oh, thank goodness. Ms. Blackwell said she had something she really needed to do. So I granted her special permission to do what she must. No, he allowed her to do the vigilante justice on Bobby Blackwell. I wonder what it is. Oh, Ms. Blackwell. I didn't come to apologize, if that's what you're thinking. My actions are what allowed the truth of what happened 7 years ago to come to light. But I did come because I had something to say to all of you. Ms. Aura... She'd better not be here to complain about something. Ms. Blackwell, I want to apologize to you. The fact that you couldn't trust the court system is our fault. Yes, it's true, the courts are filled with incompetent idiots. Still, I suppose I could let you handle the rest of this case for me. Oh, Ms. Aura, does this mean you're starting to trust the system again? No, of course not. Be quiet, hunk of junk. It's just, I wouldn't mind if you were the ones who took Metis' killer down. Leave it to us. We'll get it. So I guess that means she's starting to trust us at least. Aura. Simon, I'm so glad both you and the princess were cleared of all suspicion. And it's all thanks to me and my robots. You'd better be grateful. I never imagined you would go that far. They always were extreme. But I don't recall ever requesting your help. As closed as ever, I see. Well, now that you've been released, I guess it's my turn to go live in the slammer. I just hope you're not the prosecutor for my trial. You'd probably give me the death penalty. You know me all too well. I guess love can take on a variety of expressions, including stunted in their case. But I truly was about to be executed tomorrow. Though, because of you, it looks like I won't be crossing the sticks just yet. You have my heartfelt thanks, Aura. I'm sorry I caused you so much anguish. Simon... Careful. Oh no. I'm so glad, Simon. So very glad to hear you say that. Aura. Alright, that's enough of that. Bailiff, take me to the detention center. What Miss Blackwell did was inexcusable. But it's clear she did it out of love for her brother. You say the ends justify the means? I still can't wrap my mind around Detective Fulbright being the Phantom. I can't believe he killed Clay. Right, and murdered my mentor, which brought great distress upon little Athena. Chief Prosecutor. Link. Attacked by a yawn. Chief Prosecutor. Yes. I would ask a favor. Would you allow me to stand at the prosecutor's bench for this trial? I wish to claim the Phantom's head by my own hand. That was my plan all along, after all. After all, it's highly unconventional for a man of my position to stand in court. Sir? The formal paperwork is yet to be filed, but you are hereby conditionally released. Please take the prosecutor's bench in your official capacity and uncover the truth by your own hand. I'm much obliged. The day to part with these has come at last. Chief Prosecutor, could you? How long have I waited? Maybe it's a sense of freedom, but even the air seems fresher, the light brighter. And I will relish slashing that blackguard Fulbright to shreds without mercy. I don't have to be able to read his heart to see how happy he is. Oh, I'm so glad, but I won't cry just yet. After all, we still got a trial to finish. It's okay to cry, Athena. I promise. Prosecutor Blackwell, Mr. Wright, please avenge Clay's death for me. What are you talking about, Apollo? You're coming to the defense's bench with me. Well, I can't expect Athena to assist me, now can I? She's the defendant. And that leaves you, Apollo. But, are you sure you want me? I took a leave of absence and everything. Well, our office is pretty short-handed, and you're all I've got. Well, Trucy was just released. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Apollo? Athena, I can say it with all my heart now. I believe in your complete innocence. And now we're going to prove it to the world. Thank you, Apollo. I know you can do it.
So, you won't be needing that eye patch anymore, right?
Right, because I'm fine now.
I'm fine. No! Oh no. Now this is the Apollo I know. Welcome back, Apollo. It's almost time for the trial to restart. Looks like you have things well in hand. So you've done your magical girl transformation, Apollo. Yep. I should head back to the prosecutor's office. But why? I want to look into a few things. Namely, first people on the scene 7 years ago, facial data registered by the robot, and Detective Fulbright's background. Sounds great, Edgeworth. Thanks. I expect to be repaid with a victory, right? Now, if you'll excuse me. Okay, you two all set to go? You bet I am. Let's do this. This is it, the final battle. The murder of Apollo's friend, the courtroom bombing incident, and the case that ushered in the dark age of the law 7 years ago. Destiny has called us to bring the one responsible for it all to justice today. December 20, 5:27 p.m. District Court, Courtroom number 4. Let us now reconvene. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has never been more ready. You know, this is the first time we've been at the defense bench together since I debuted. Now that you mention it. Although, back then, I thought you were more loud than you were reliable. You've really come a long way since then, Apollo. You've grown a lot. Well, there have been some hiccups, but I guess I've done pretty well. He's still got that ego of his, though. Okay. Prosecutor Blackwell, with the 7-year mistake now resolved, you can finally take your rightful place. Yes, I guess we can keep the chit-chat for later. Bailiff, please bring in the witness immediately. Even with those handcuffs off, Prosecutor Blackwell seems to be pretty much the same. 7 years of grumpiness doesn't go away so easily, I guess. Bobby Fulbright here. I heard I was needed on the stand, so here I am. Detective Fulbright, do you know why you have been called to give testimony? Yep, because there's only one reason I'd be called. And that is because it's time for justice. In justice we trust.
Objection!
You can't fool us with that act anymore. Your justice is nothing but lies. What? Are you questioning the integrity of my sense of justice? I mean, sure, sometimes I make mistakes, but hey. He's acting exactly the same as always. Tell me about it. You must be feeling awfully confident. Fulbright, if you wish to dispel our suspicions, then let's get to your testimony. Alright, fine. You want me to prove my righteousness? I can certainly do that. Witness testimony. The embodiment of justice. I'm the very embodiment of justice itself. I won't have you make me into a villain with your far-fetched arguments. And this bit about the escape route is only a theory. We don't have any proof. What we do have is proof that Athena Sykes is the culprit. This lighter with her prints on it. So you're saying the suspicions against you are completely false? And that the defendant is the real culprit? That's right. Mr. Lawyer's escape route is totally circumstantial. He doesn't have any proof that I made a big leap onto a ladder. We don't have proof. You are correct about that. However, you don't have any proof for your claim either. Yeah, I guess you're right. But you can't define justice with evidence. Who can define it anyway? Justice just is.
Objection!
Don't make me break out a dictionary. Yeah! Please don't throw the book at me! Tell me the Phantom didn't just make me set up a stupid pun for him. Let's just try not to lose focus, alright? But my justice is crystal clear. What's not clear are your eyes. Wake up and smell the justice.
Silence!
You don't have chains to jangle anymore. Ah! Enough of your rubbish, Fulbright. If you have even an ounce of justice, then you will answer the court's questions and prove it. Oh, Prosecutor Blackwell! Prosecutor Blackwell looks torn. Well, Fulbright was his partner after all. Prosecutor Blackwell is right. The truth will be revealed in the cross-examination. The suspicions against Detective Fulbright are, at this point, only suspicions. As is my duty, I will judge the claims against the detective as impartially as I can. Does anyone have any objections? Well, that's fine, Your Honor. Now ask away and don't hold back. Well, there don't appear to be any objections. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please begin your cross-examination. The embodiment of justice. I'm the very embodiment of justice itself.
Hold it!
The embodiment of justice? Those are just empty words. But they say if you keep saying something, it can eventually become the truth. Isn't that how people make their dreams come true too? By wishing over and over? Alright. Let's just move on. I won't have you make me into a villain with your far-fetched arguments.
Hold it!
My arguments are hardly far-fetched. There's careful reasoning behind my theory. Yes, well, apparently there's reasoning behind even a tofu burger. But what we have against Miss Sykes, though, is not just reasoning, but solid evidence. And it's called the lighter with Miss Sykes' fingerprints on it and the victim's blood. Yes, that's true, but wait. Detective Fulbright was the one who brought that evidence to the trial. If you harbor any suspicions, I suspect you asked Fulbright, right, Dora? Especially about that lighter. He's alright, but what exactly should I ask about? Number and position. Those would be things to know about this, wouldn't they? I am interested in the position of them. Please tell the court about the position of the prints on the lighter. They're around the same spot on either side as they would be if she were holding it up. I suppose if it was used to light the room, it would be held that way. Could you please add that statement to your testimony? Heck. The prints were placed just the way they would be if someone were holding it lit.
Hold it!
Yes, Miss Blackwell did mention she saw a little lighter being held up. Yup, meaning the person Miss Blackwell saw was the owner of the fingerprints. It just strengthens the argument against Miss Sykes. This line of questioning is going to get me anywhere except conviction land. Should I try asking him something else? Let's just press on like this. Now let's look at the number. Maybe there's a weird number of... So, how many prints were found exactly? 3. The thumb, the index finger, and the middle finger of a right hand. Oh. Was this a right hand that found... Bark, bark, bark? No, they held the lighter in their left hand. That's a shenanigan. Your Honor, that is an important statement. Could we please have it swapped into my testimony? You got it. He beat me to it. Ha ha ha! Be it investigating or testifying, speed is key. Speed is key. Right, 3 prints. 3 prints were on the lighter. The thumb, index, and middle fingers of a right hand. I know that it's... So 3 prints from a right hand were found on the lighter, huh? Are you certain of this? I'd stake my life on it. Mr. Wright? Mr.
Also,
Wright.
that hand is also always gloved.
Well, his own hand is always gloved. But see, he's accusing Athena of having the lighter. But it doesn't matter because the witness has shown that the actual victim, whoever they were, held the lighter in their left hand, not in their right hand. Anyway, isn't it odd he's saying the prints are from Athena's right hand? Why would you say that? Oh, think about it for a sec. Oh, Athena wears a glove, too. Oh yeah, I guess so. That's what you're telling me, isn't it? I didn't know that. Athena always wears that glove on her right hand, right?
Yeet.
So there's no way she'd leave prints those 3 fingers from her right hand. Hey, great point. Why didn't I catch that one? Because I don't look at Athena's hands.
2 fingers are also covered.
Detective Fulbright, I'm sure you heard our discussion just now. About how Miss Sykes always wears a glove on her right hand. Well, I have only one thing to say to that. Do you have evidence that she was wearing that glove at the time of the incident? I guess we don't. If you want to prove the defendant innocent, you'll have to ask better questions than that. Like I need a lecture from you, Smiles Magoo. Should I try asking about something else? No, we're gonna press on like this. Let's proceed with your testimony, shall we? Certainly, certainly. Statement that was added. I'm not sure if it's relevant or not. Well, at least he seems willing to answer our questions. Let's keep asking about different things and see if we can uncover an inconsistency. Detective Fulbright is a tougher adversary than I thought. Okay, so... Proof 17 slices the culprit, this lighter with their prints on it. Reprints. Thumb index. Right hand, and only right hand.
Objection!
Here you go. You say the prints were for a right hand, is that correct? That's right. Very clear print. But that just doesn't add up. Oh, what doesn't add up? According to Miss Blackwell, who saw the culprit herself, this person held the lighter in their left hand. Oh. So here's the dilemma for us. Why are the prints on the lighter from a right hand instead of a left? Yeah. Right. It doesn't make sense, does it? Your Honor, this lighter can hardly be called incriminating evidence. The witness's claims don't even hold water. Dr. Fulbright, I hope you have a good explanation for this. I just can't understand it. They're definitely right-hand prints. But then, why are they inconsistent with Miss Blackwell's statement? I've got it. What have you got, Detective? The mirror! The witness must have seen the reflection of the culprit in the mirror. Go on. Miss Blackwell was looking in through the window of boarding lounge 1, wasn't she? I believe so. If you mean the little window in the back and to the right of the room. Well, that's right. And across the room on the opposite wall is a large mirror. I do remember seeing it. So are you saying... Yes, the culprit Miss Blackwell saw must have been a reflection of that person in the mirror. Ah, I see. In that case, right and left would appear reversed, wouldn't they? And now do you see? That's the logic of pure justice.
Objection!
But your argument is only conjecture. You don't have any proof that what Miss Blackwell saw was a reflection.
Too dim for reflections, though.
Kind of, and also the fact that they're carrying a lighter, so that would also be... Right, don't know, you'd sooner nick yourself than him like that. Put some more muscle into it. Alright, this is heckin' work. Huh? That's right. Besides, the lighter couldn't have been in the left hand. And why not? Miss Blackwell said she saw an Earth emblem on the lighter, didn't she? That emblem is only on one side of the lighter. You're right. There's no emblem on the other side. Exactly. As blank and smooth as the judge's fine scalp. If the culprit's hand had held the lighter in their left hand, then they would have covered the emblem. Uh-oh. What's more, this is the kind of lighter you flick open with your thumb before lighting. So if the culprit had held it in their left hand with the emblem out and visible, they wouldn't have been able to open it and let alone light it. But if they had held it in their right hand, they could easily open it.
You can hold it reverse too.
And light it. This all means that the culprit was definitely holding a lighter in their right hand. No! Come back, my beautiful contradiction. It appears you planted a flower that bears no fruit. See how it withers before my flower of justice? He's tough. He's managed to discredit almost everything I've proven up to this point. In justice we trust. Now do you see? I'm not this phantom you've been talking about. I mean, are you sure there really is a spy? I bet they're just a figment of your imagination. Oh, it's so sad. So very sad. But I'm afraid Miss Sykes is the culprit.
Hold it!
Detective Fulbright, I believe you said that the emblem was only on one side of the lighter? Are you sure about that? Of course I'm sure. Why don't you take a look for yourself and see? Do you see an earth emblem on both sides of the lighter? Shenanigans. Knew it. You're lying, detective. Pardon me? You mean... Yes, my bracelet reacted to a statement about the emblem. He's definitely hiding something big. If only we could turn the lighter around to see what was on the other side. Brag, brag, brag. And I think if we use my talent, we might be able to figure it out. Justice Dono, are you to use that cheat of yours again? It's not cheating, Musky to Blackwell. Very well. Whether I like it or not, I suppose we should use whatever works right now. Go on, then. We have Prosecutor Blackwell's reluctant blessing, apparently. Okay. Apollo, you're up. Here goes, then. Detective Fulbright, could you repeat that last statement one more time? What in the world are you up to? Alright, fine. I'll say it as many times as you like. Listen carefully. The Earth emblem is only on one side of the... It's only on the side that you can see when held in the right hand. Okay. I'm judging this hand, the one that got stabbed, probably. Well, it's the other one, I mean. I noticed it stopped moving his thumb after the Earth emblem. Least in the game. Yeah, the Earth emblem right there.
Gotcha!
Oh! Detective Fulbright, you might not be aware of it yourself, but whenever you say the phrase, the Earth emblem, your left thumb moves. In fact, it appears as though you're running it along the edge of your holster. Mr. Lawyer, I don't have the foggiest notion of what you're talking about. Be that as it may, I know it has something to do with the lighter. Let me examine it. But why? You're not making any sense. You can't just...
Silence!
Be still and do your toe, Fulbright. If you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't mind them having a look-see. Sure do. What? And not you too, Prosecutor Blackwell. I'm not sure what this is all about, but if Prosecutor Blackwell insists, it must be something important. I will allow the defense to examine the lighter. Good. Maybe we'll learn something new. I hope so. Now let's check every inch of this thing. Okay, so suspicious other side. The blood. So much blood. Okay, I'm gonna take this opportunity to take a short break. You may have noticed me, falling off between sentences to get some blood movement. Y'all can get a drink, do some self-care, whatever you need. We'll be back here within about 5 minutes or so. Back. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. Y'all know I've been dealing with sleep trouble. We have a sleep test scheduled for next week, so we start getting that figured out, one way or another. Anyway, alright. Let's examine this famous tennis ball. There's a moon here in relief. I guess it's designed to go with the Earth. If anything is suspicious about this lighter, it's probably in this area. I don't see anything odd about this, though. So this is the Earth emblem Detective Fulbright was talking about. See anything noteworthy? Huh? Hey, look at this. The emblem's actually some kind of button. Button. Ooh. Ooh. Ah. Wow. I transformed into something with a trigger. A handle? A trigger? Is this what I think it is? There's no question, it seems. What you have there is a gun. A what? A gun? It's also a gun. So that's it. Your Honor, please recall this morning's trial when Director Cosmos was on the stand. The bullet that hit the oxygen tank was extremely small, maybe a 10 caliber. This little compact gun probably takes bullets of that caliber. It looks like this gun was the gun. Looks like this was the gun that was fired at the scene. I'm flabbergasted. The lighter was a gun? So when Detective Fulbright would touch his holster... That's right. Whenever he mentioned the Earth emblem, he must have subconsciously thought about the secret behind the lighter. In other words, he knew it was a gun from the very beginning. A lighter that transforms into a gun seems like a spy gadget to me. It's not the kind of thing any ordinary person can get their hands on. In fact, I'd say it's strictly in the domain of elite spies, category of person I made up just now. Detective Fulbright, you will explain yourself. There's nothing for me to explain. I didn't know the lighter could transform. I mean, it was found in the Space Museum, and then I brought it straight in. I didn't even have time to check it out. It's like it was so cool, I wish I'd known.
Objection!
Whenever you mention the Earth emblem, you touch your holster. You subconsciously did that because you know it was a gun. Accuse me all you want, but where's your proof? Do you have any evidence that I knew the lighter was a gun? Not exactly. And whose prints are on it? Ms. Sykes'
You were
prints.
fake. He got fingerprints off it. He had to examine it.
It's true. Anyway, and whose prints are on it? Ms. Sykes' prints. It proves that she's the culprit who fired the gun at the scene. It would appear that the detective is right. Are you guys really trying to prove your client innocent or what? Uh-oh. Although it pains me to do this, now that we are where we are, I have to make the following assertions coming from the prosecution side. The person who fired the gun and directed Cosmos to the lounge after the incident, and the person Miss Blackwell saw holding the lighter, and the person who murdered Mr. Terran, and the person who bombed the Space Center, are the defendant, Athena Sykes. The prints on the lighter are decisive proof. Oh. Now do you see? A man on the side of justice couldn't possibly be the culprit. And I think this about sums up Ms. Sykes' part of the whole affair. The evidence certainly does seem to point to the defendant's guilt. Do you have anything to say, Prosecutor Blackwell? Evidence is everything in court. Therefore, Mr. Fulbright's claims stand firm. But... Calm down, Apollo. He's just saying that because he has to as the prosecutor. Mr. Lawyer, our job is to pursue criminals in the name of justice. You shouldn't cast suspicion on people based on something as dubious as a habit. In fact, you have a bad habit of showing up in court with an awful case of bedhead.
Objection!
Says the man who wears sunglasses at night. If it's proof you want, it's proof you'll get. I'll prove that this lighter's not Miss Sykes's, but yours. This sounds like you've hit on something, Apollo. It's just, if the prints on the lighter are the basis for accusing Athena, I think we should reconsider the credibility of the evidence itself. You mean, you think this lighter might be forged evidence? That's right. It could all be part of Fulbright's bigger plot. Did you do anything out of the ordinary while I was off on my own? Yeah, he was really weird when we saw him in the Space Center. I can definitely think of a few things. It is indeed. Have a look at this. What's this? A lighter? Detective, we'd like to run a comparison on some prints we found in the board in the lounge. Yes. I just happen to have compiled the print data of everyone related to this case. I can always make another copy for myself, so it's all yours. Considered a gift. If we assume he's been laying a big trap for us all along, there's got to be something off about this piece of evidence. What's wrong with the lighter as a piece of evidence? Well, so, first off, we can review this, can't we? Like, okay, how the prints were left on it. The owner of the prints. I mean, sure, the owner of the prints is what's wrong with it, sure, but I don't think we can. Where the prints are on it. Like, so when that thing opens up as a gun, does that have any...
If it's used as a gun, there should be more prints too.
More prints. Yeah. Okay, so how were the prints... Hold on 1 second here also. The victim's blood.
Because holding it like gun is different than lighter.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as far as the position. Okay, but also these are Athena's prints in the victim's blood. That's Clay Terran's blood. How? How is that? How is the blood getting on the lighter? Or more better, how is the blood getting between Athena's fingers and the lighter?
Oh yeah, true. How did the blood get on it?
That's kind of confusing. Anyway, I'm just gonna do the shenanigans. Because as we all know, it doesn't matter how legitimate the question is. If it's not the question the game wants to answer, then... No, I guess I don't see anything strange about how the prints were left on the lighter. Didn't I just bark that? Nothing unusual about the angle of the prints or how they're patchy in places, but there's got to be something off about this piece of evidence. What's wrong with the lighter? Okay, you wouldn't even let me say it. Okay, so where the prints are on it. No? Anything odd about where the prints are? No, I guess if it was fired as a gun, that's about where the prints would be, but... Okay, fine. I see we're being led to say that, yeah, it's weird that they're Athena's prints. And that's what we're trying to say. Are they really Athena's fingerprints? They definitely matched her print data. But what about the data itself? Detective Fulbright, you were the one who provided us with the lighter and print data. Isn't that correct? Yes. What about it? You say Ms. Sykes' prints matched the print data. But I have to wonder, was the data you used official? Mr. Wright, are you suggesting that the evidence might have been fabricated? I guess there's only one way to find out. Let's re-examine the prints. Using the official, sanctioned print data of the people involved in this case. What? You dare insult the epitome of justice and integrity? There's no need for such antics.
Silence!
Your Honor, I lend my voice to the defense's request. You must allow the test to be rerun. Very well then, bailiff. It appears the official data is here. And the results? It's just the defense claims.
Delivery verb.
Yeah. This proves that the prints on the lighter do not belong to the defendant. Yeah! Yes! The fingerprints actually belong to the victim, Mr. Clay Terran. So, going back to our original question, yes, the blood did not get between Athena's fingers and the lighter. Clay's fingerprints in his own blood. Also,
No big deal. Just framing someone for murder.
Yeah. Alright. Lighter, updated in the court record. A lighter that can transform into a handgun. It has Clay Terran's fingerprints and blood on it. Uh-oh. Now Clay is the elite spy who owns this lighter. Those were Clay's fingerprints on the lighter? I see. Come to think of it, wasn't it you, Fulbright, who collected the victim's prints? I personally removed his glove during the investigation. He had to get his fingerprints to confirm his identity, after all. Oh, okay, that's right. That's why it came off. When you took the deceased's fingerprints, you could have easily planted his prints on the lighter with his blood. After which you wiped the blood off his hand. By your own admission, you were also the one who compiled the phony print data. All to put the blame on Ms. Sykes. This ploy must have been to distract us from the Phantom who is behind everything. You were out to create the impression that the Phantom wasn't the true culprit. So, does this mean Detective Fulbright really is the Phantom? Remember the killer's escape route. No ordinary person would have been fearless enough to attempt it. Nobody but the Phantom, the man with no emotions, could have done it. Yeah. Detective Fulbright, you were the only one who could have used that escape route. Yeah. I... Fulbright, are you really the Phantom? Answer me, or so help me, I will slash you to tiny slivers where you stand. Alright, I'll talk. I confess. I'm not the Phantom.
Silence!
It's all over. Now be a man and admit it already. But I'm not a spy. I'm an undercover investigator. I've actually been after the Phantom myself. An undercover investigator? That sounds less than wholesome to me. Judge. The person who hides his identity and secretly investigates in order to uncover information. And that's what you really are, Fulbright. That's right. I was looking to track down the Phantom, but sadly, even though I was supposed to catch the spy ended up catching me. He took my family hostage and forced me to cooperate with him. Oh, good heck. What?
Objection!
You're telling us this now? But if what you say is true, then who was the mystery person Miss Blackwell and Mr. Starbuck saw? It was the Phantom, I tell you. All I did was help him by having that emergency ladder lowered for him.
Objection!
I don't believe you. Then how do you explain the fabricated lighter? That was also one of the Phantom's demands. Being the detective in charge of the case, it was easy for me to fabricate evidence. Pinning the crime on Athena Sykes was just another one of the Phantom's orders. And you expect me to buy that? Fulbright, what was the Phantom's ultimate objective? I was told it was to sabotage the rocket launch. Someone who didn't want the launch to happen must have given him the order. Actually, I have to apologize to you too. The Phantom told me to get close to you. He ordered me to get back that psych profile you have on him.
Psyche evaluate him to see if Fulbright has emotions.
Athena's not helping. She's defending. So, he sent a buzzard of his own to tell me this past year, did he? I haven't been a champion of justice. I've just been a pawn of evil. A pawn of the Phantom who stole the moon rock and killed Dr. Sykes 7 years ago. Enough, Fulbright. Just tell us the Phantom's true identity. I don't know. He's very careful to hide it. He has top secret information from all kinds of corporations and countries. So there's a number of organizations that want him dead. If people believed I was the Phantom, I could be killed on the spot. Why, I bet even now. There are assassins lurking nearby. This case is about the Phantom after all. With the ceiling blown off, I suppose you are vulnerable to a sniper's shot in this courtroom. Just 2 seconds ago, Fulbright was treating Athena like a criminal. Does he really think he's going to lie his way out of it now? But on the surface, everything does seem to make sense. This could be bad, Mr. Wright. if we can't find a flaw in his logic. He's right. After we've come all this way, we can't let Fulbright wriggle free now. There, I finally told the truth. I hope you see how foolish it was to think I was the Phantom. Oh dear. You're an intelligent man, Prosecutor Blackwell. You believe me, right? I believe you. I don't think you're the Phantom. What? How can you say that, Prosecutor Blackwell? It's obvious he's the Phantom.
Silence.
Evidence is everything, right, Donor? And you must admit there's no clear evidence that Fulbright is the Phantom. Yes. As I recall, the only solid proof we've seen up to this point is the fact that Detective Fulbright fabricated evidence. But... Red dot appears on Fulbright's forehead. No! I've known Fulbright here for a year now, and all this time he's been quite intent on rehabilitating me. I don't believe his efforts were a lie. Prosecutor Blackwell! This fool truly thought he could reform a death row inmate like me. He went so out of his way in his efforts for me, he actually became quite a nuisance, really. Prosecutor Blackwell, you believe me? Please tell me Prosecutor Blackwell hasn't really been taken in by this big phony. However, even if it was against your will, you still acted as the Phantom's accomplice. You will have to pay the price for that. Throw yourself at my mercy, and don't you ever betray me again. Have you got that? Yes, thank you. Oh, thank you. Such a bond of trust is a rare and beautiful thing. In any case, it looks like everything has been resolved. I can now hand down a not guilty verdict with confidence. Very good. I'm very glad to hear it. It's all over. Everything's been cleared up and Miss Sykes will go free as well. Mr. Wright, we can't let the trial end here. If we do, the Phantom, the man who killed Clay, will get away. I know, but... what do I do? I don't have any proof that Detective Fulbright is the Phantom. Is this it? Is he going to get away, just like that? Hydrate? Yeah, I'll do that. Thank you, Dogai. And now, if you'll excuse me, my next investigation awaits. And with that, I'm off. Keeps being like he's gonna pull the gun out instead of his... The defense? No, wait, not the defense. The defendant feels it's not time for a verdict yet and would like to see this trial continue. What? But I was just about to declare you innocent of all charges. It just doesn't feel right to be standing here. Hey, Paulo, think you could scooch over? Zoom. Athena, what are you doing? Hope we don't get held in contempt of court. I have some questions for you, Detective Fulbright. Are you relieved that you're no longer under suspicion of being the Phantom? Are you grateful to Prosecutor Blackwell for what he's done for you? Of course I am, and I'm truly grateful from the bottom of my heart. Athena, where are you going with these questions? I have yet to hear single emotion behind any Detective Fulbright's words, boss. His suspicion against him has been cleared up, but he's not feeling happy at all. What? Does that mean... We may not have any evidence, but the heart don't lie. That's it. With your special ability, we just might be able to stop it. Your Honor, the detective has been deeply traumatized by our accusations. Yes, well... Even before all this, I thought he was a rather odd fellow. If he doesn't get counseling right away, who knows what might happen to him? Prosecutor Blackwell, can you believe the nonsense the defense is spouting? Fulbright, I think you'd better have that counseling. Not you too! You've been making batty remarks ever since you were accused of being the Phantom. Such as, you're an undercover investigator, and your family's been taken hostage. I fear you might have finally lost it. But I thought you believed me.
Silence!
Oh, how you amuse me so. What's going on here? That was an excellent bit of psychological manipulation just now, Simon. I knew you would catch on, Athena. Mind filling me in here? Guess we left you in the dust, huh, Mr. Wright? Simon was only pretending to believe Detective Fulbright, because he knew I'd notice if there was lack of emotions like joy or relief in his response. So it gave me a chance to take a listen. And listen I did, the voice of Detective Fulbright's heart. What? You two were working together just now? Come now, Athena. Show us what's inside Fulbright's heart. You got it. Time to check the instant replay. Widget, mon ami. Let's do this. Thank you for believing me and me, Prosecutor Blackwell. I am an undercover investigator, but the Phantom was coercing me. He stole the moon rock and killed Dr. Sykes 7 years ago.
Wait, no. Literally all the fingers are covered by her glove.
I'm a bad, bad person for cooperating with such a man. But he took my family hostage. What else could I do? Yeah, you don't care not one bit, not one whisper of emotion. Even with all his over-the-top expressions and gestures, he's registering no emotion at all. It's just like I thought, and right in line with the Phantom Psych profile. Detective Fulbright, this lack of emotion proves you're the Phantom. Hey, what's going on? Wait, hold it. What do you think you're doing, detective? Noise jamming! Me? I'm not doing anything. He's trying to hack into the Mood Matrix program. I can't do anything with it like this. Fancy device you have there, but I'll tolerate no cheating, thank you. Sorry about that. As an undercover agent, I tend to use my secret arsenal without even thinking. More like as a spy. Thanks, Prosecutor Blackwell. There. Now you can't hack me anymore. I dare you try to hide your lack of emotions from us. Lack of emotion? What are you talking about? Of course I have feelings. As a matter of fact, you've wounded me very deeply with that accusation. What's going on? All of a sudden I'm getting overwhelmingly happy. Huh? But he's literally crying as a river over there. Oops, my mistake. How about this? Ah! Yes. Now he's angry all of a sudden? What's he trying to pull? Like as not, it would appear our friend is not completely without emotion. It's just as it says in Dr. Sykes' profile of the Phantom. The subject has a unique psychological makeup with almost no emotional fluctuation. Oh, I get it. So he has some emotions, right? Like, precisely, which leads me to wonder why you can't sense any emotions from it at all. I believe it's most likely because he is controlling his emotions. Very good, Prosecutor Blackwell. You are correct. It's the result of my daily training. A very important skill for us undercover investigators, you know? More like for us spies. Seriously. But I wonder why he suddenly showed several strong emotions. Wait a minute. I think I know. I sense there's a feeling you're trying to hide with your exaggerated emotions, Detective. A feeling I'm trying to hide? That's a good one. You're the ones who have been saying I'm the Phantom because I don't have any emotions. I was just trying to show you the range of deep emotions I truly possess. When you have no objections to me analyzing you, right? No, analyze away. But I will state it again, I'm not the Phantom. And be forewarned that your analysis will have no effect. Because you're about to see what an undercover agent can really do. Oh, good heck. These are all pathological. Me, the Phantom? No way. I mean, they're flickering on and off. It's bizarre. Except, I'm so sad. See, I told you I have emotions. Okay, again, all flipping on and off, doing ridiculosities. How dare you accuse me of being someone who would kill over a moon rock? I in fact did not say that was your motive, but that's an interesting thing that you just brought up on your own. His sadness is pretty solid here, actually. I'm going to notice the consistent sadness there. I do regret cooperating with the Phantom, of course. But I'm so glad this whole misunderstanding is cleared up now. Okay, so Moonrock, huh?
Got it!
I found it. I found the one emotion you're truly feeling. What? Hidden in the middle of that chaotic storm, I saw one emotion that never disappeared. When you talked about the moon rock, you felt a fear that wouldn't fade. Fear? Do I call that fear? Fear? Ha! The fear that a man with hardly any emotions feels, huh? And it was a response to that moonrock. Detective Fulbright, I presume you feel fear concerning the moonrock because you lost it? You failed to steal it, your identity was revealed. I'm going to say you lost it. You lost the precious moonrock you went to so much trouble to get, didn't you? And that frustration has turned to fear in your heart. Oh, it's so frustrating. I can't stand it. I'm not so sure a man who could make that 20-foot leap would feel fear about that. Yeah, I guess you're right. Didn't the topic of what a spy might fear the most come up in our discussions earlier? Detective Fulbright, I presume you feel fear concerning the moonrock because your identity will be revealed. Of course, that's it. Enough, Fulbright. Just tell us the Phantom's true identity. I don't know. He was very careful to hide it. He has top-secret information for all kinds of corporations and countries. So there's a number of organizations that want him dead. If people believed I was the Phantom, I could be killed on the spot. Why, I bet even now. There are assassins lurking nearby. This case is about the Phantom, after all. Detective Fulbright, I think I know why you would feel afraid. You are afraid that the moonrock will somehow reveal your identity. If his identity were revealed, he would be killed immediately. That's certainly enough to make even the Phantom feel afraid. Me? Afraid? I don't know what you're talking about. So, there really is something about the moonrock that would reveal his identity? Apparently so. Wait a minute. Maybe the platform, maybe the Phantom didn't so much steal the moonrock, but more like he had to take it with him? Because there was something on it that would reveal his true identity? Where do you think you're going? Me? I'm not going anywhere. Is it just me, or is he going to use that weird watch thing to try to get away? How many more of those toys does he have? And where can I get myself some? Detective Fulbright, you will answer honestly to this court right now. Why do you feel fear in connection with the moonrock? In justice we trust, not emotions, Mr. Lawyer. Evidence is everything. I'm the Phantom because I'm afraid? Don't make me laugh. And what was that just now? But all human beings have hearts and experience emotions. Sometimes analyzing a case from a psychological perspective is the best way to find the truth. It's all just a waste of time. All your efforts at analyzing serve no purpose. And now, in this dark age of the law, nobody will believe your claim that it's effective. Sorry, we'll check that again. Just parked. In an era where the evidence is fabricated, do you truly expect feeling to be accepted as proof? And where exactly is your proof that I fear the moon rock more... Proof? And where exactly is your proof that I fear the moon rock anyway? Oh, well, I admit I don't have any conventional proof, but I still say that examining a person's heart has its merits. Oh, really? Then why don't you listen carefully with those special ears of yours? Listen to the hearts of the people in the gallery. All I hear is distrust. You can see the people on my side. Because all I see is a strange little girl using a weird little machine. It's not like I use analytical psychology to falsely accuse people. Uh-oh, he's got Athena doubting herself. Miss Sykes' analytical psychology has breathed new life into the courtroom. It has freed the hearts of many witnesses and has been key in getting to the truth. What nonsense! Your Honor, the defense's claim is a false one. I don't feel any kind of fear when it comes to the moon rock. I see. Very well. I'll give the opinion of this court. In a trial, I don't feel Huth's opinion. In a trial, I don't feel that a person's emotions are quite as compelling as actual evidence is. But, Your Honor... There, you see? Nobody believes in your trumped-up charges. However, I do believe Miss Sykes' analyses can contribute to making the truth clearer. I have seen her do this firsthand several times already. Ooh, surely a jest. So does this mean you accept my findings in this trial, Mr. Monster? Mr. Monster? Wow, yeah. Musky is dozing off. We're past the end of our stream time. So does this mean you accept my findings in this trial, Your Honor? Yes, I believe your claim, Miss Sykes. I think there's merit in examining why the witness feels fear in regard to the moon rock. That is the court's opinion on this matter. Do you think that's a win for me? No, a win for analytical psychology. Now, Mr. Phantom, you'll tell this court the reason for your fear. Analytical psychology? My fears? Fine. I'll show you precisely why those abstract things can't be considered evidence. Okay. New interview is a good point for us to stop. We are again way over time. We'll come back to see about this fear of the moon rock. Alright. Hoobity-bop-bop. Okay, we will be back here tomorrow with more Dual Destinies. And after the more Dual Destinies, some of that Mario Maker. Night, night, yeah, thank you for stopping by with us. Okay. Anyway, I hope you join us next time. Let's take a